Hello, my name is Shelby Dodes, and this is my video self-reflection over the standardized patient that I did on November 4th, 2015. Going into this SP experience, I was very confident because I thought that I knew what it was going to be. And whenever I read the description on the door and when I walked into the room, I was completely flustered because it wasn't what I was expecting. And you can kind of tell that on my video because I took a while to respond to the people that were helping me. I took a long time to think of what I was going to do next just because I was very flustered and I was blanking, and that's how I went into the SP experience, or that's how it began. The things that I did well, though, I felt like I executed the lift for spine boarding very well. I thought that once I calmed down, I explained how to do the lift to the helpers decently well. Of course, I have a couple things that I could have done better. And then whenever I walked in, I also tried to get a verbal response out of the patient before I started spine boarding right away. Things I can work on. I didn't call 911. Personally, I would wait until EMS got to the scene to spine board anyway, but I should have told someone to call 911 and then said, okay, 911 is here, let's go ahead and spine board. I didn't check to see if the patient was breathing. I should have definitely done that, even though the patient was not a live patient. I still could have said, okay, she's breathing, this is how I would proceed. I also, while I was holding C-spine, my hands were very secure, but I kind of scooted back a couple times and positioned myself. And I need to be 100% still, even if I'm possibly in the way or I get tired, because that will happen if you hold C-spine for a long time. I need to explain all the aspects of the lift before I actually start to execute the lift, so I did a really good job of how to start the lift, but I didn't explain how we were going to lower the patient with the board next to her before I started the lift. And then I need to tell the person who is holding the board to make sure that all of the belts were in her hand before we put the patient onto the spine board and whenever we were laying the patient down on the spine board, because a lot of the belts got tangled underneath of the board and we had to lift the board up with the patient on it in order to get one of the belts out so we could strap the patient in. Also, being with people who had never done spine boarding before, it was weird because I had assumed that they had already strapped the patient in, and that wasn't the case. And I looked up we had already secured the patient's head with the spine board and everything was good there. I looked up and they hadn't strapped the patient in yet, and I didn't tell them to, and so I definitely need to do that. Also, I noticed as soon as we put the patient down on the floor on the board, the orange stabilizer little base, it wasn't on the board, and I figured, yeah, I should have put that on the board before we put the patient on the spine board. But it's kind of like the C-collar where you just kind of shove it underneath the patient's head and try to prevent the movement as much as possible. So overall, I thought that I did fairly well. Obviously that there are multiple things that I could have done and should have done, but this experience has definitely helped me, and I won't make those same mistakes again.